I sit alone in the zone, so gone. Just think about the scriptures, knowing I was living wrong. Praying that the Lord forgive me. In this walk I'm going strong. As far as age, yeah, I'm grown, but spiritually a newborn. Not trying to be lukewarm, so weekly we bring it out. Yeah, them trumpets gon' get blown.
What's up with the Sabbath though? What's your thing on the Sabbath?
Oh, about the Lunar, because I didn't want to do. I want to do everything in decent and in order. Like, I want to do everything that the Bible want me to do. So what God wants me to do. So I didn't want to do the Friday and Saturday Sabbath. I wanted to just because I didn't feel like, because y'all got a whole different type of lunar thing going on. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to be taught something else and be committing myself to that when I'm supposed to be doing it another way. You know what I'm saying? So I just didn't do the Friday. I did for like maybe 2 weeks. Then I was like, I'm finna learn the lunar calendar. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the point. Once it's brought to you, you're supposed to take that and run with it. And I was learning. It got to my attention from Chief that there's a lunar calendar. And if the thing was in the chat, I clicked it, I took a screenshot of it, and I sent it to her. And I said, Mama, this is what I want to study. You know what I'm saying? This is what I want to go by.
The lunar calendar?
The lunar calendar, yes.
So who has a question about the Sabbath then? You have a question about the Sabbath? You keep the Friday, Saturday Sabbath?
I was keeping the Friday, Saturday.
What made you start keeping the Friday, Saturday? Oh, you was listening to another Ken.
Yes. You know, and I told my daughter, until I learn the lunar, I gotta keep it.
Exactly. If that's your understanding, you gotta do what you gotta do.
You know, so when she introduced the calendar to me, I looked at it, but I still need to learn. It's not just looking at it. And you can, you know, yes.
Hold on. What calendar? You just sent to the list?
Yeah, the list.
Oh, no, that's not gonna help her.
Well, that's what I got.
I mean, of course, that's what you want to follow. I mean, if you want to follow that, sure, but that doesn't mean you understand it. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's not a problem with just looking at a calendar and, okay, this is what I'm going to rock. That's not going to help you.
Right. No, I understand that. I definitely understand that. I did tell my mom too that I wanted to learn how to tell the seasons in the time by the moon. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that's
you don't learn the seasons by the moon.
What do you learn?
The months. Give me that Sirach. Sirach 43. Give me Genesis 1. So you learned the Friday, Saturday Sabbath from just learning it from somebody else, right? What do they say about it though? 6 days, this day, the 7 days.
On the 7th day, Yahweh rested from doing all his work. And
wait a minute. What? Is that what they use? Oh man.
Well, maybe
I'm not.
I don't want to
listen.
Brother, maybe I'm saying it wrong.
No, you said it right, but I'm saying that if that's what they use, I've heard that before. I'm not saying it's you. I've heard that before, but I'm just saying, like, why would they go there? Like, let's just read it. Give me Genesis 1. No, give me the one in no. Give me where the Lord finishes work. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
So Genesis 2:2. And on the 7th day God ended his work which he had made. And he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made.
Yeah, we agree. But it's not talking about people here, right? So when do people, or when did the Israelites get their first introduction about the Sabbath? Because this is talking about the angelic forces. So if they're using that, we can't be going off of that, because that was thousands of years. You know what I mean? 1,000-year periods. You familiar with that?
Yeah, because I was thinking, I said, one day is like 1,000 years. So
yeah. So 7,000, 6,000 years.
To create.
Yeah, everything,
Yeah,
including people.
So when I got that, when the Most High gave me that understanding, that's just been recently.
What?
That just been recently.
Oh, the 1,000-year aspect?
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
I started there, I'm like, wait a minute, one day is like 1,000 years, so it's like
yeah, and then, but here, and here's the thing. Like, give me, go back to Genesis 1. Like, give me when the moon was created. Was that 12? Yeah. Give me Yeah. Start at 14. Go there.
Genesis 1:14. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also.
So, if we're to understand that the world was created in 6 days, technically 6,000 years, but the moon was created on the 4th day. So, why would we go by that when it's not even a full week and people weren't even created yet here? You know what I mean? This is where people go to try to say, oh, 6 days. Like, no, that's the Most High. That's not even Most High. It's the angelic forces resting. Not us. We weren't even there yet. And then it says what? Go to 14 again?
Verse 14, Genesis 1, and God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years."
Signs, seasons, days, and years. What dictates the seasons? No. The moon dictates the month. The stars dictate the seasons. The day dictates the what? The hours of the day. You understand that? Have you heard that before? No. Yep. So, all right. You've heard of like the Big Dipper and all that type of stuff. If you look every 3 or 4 months, it changes, like it rotates. You've seen that before?
Yes, I have.
Exactly. That's how you tell the seasons. Like every 3 months or 4 months, it rotates in the sky. You know what I mean?
I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I would look at it and notice that just every Big Dipper a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I noticed they would turn the rotation of the
Exactly, because it represents different seasons at a time frame. And then, like I said, the Earth, the moon represents the month, every day of the month, and then the sun is what changes every hour. Give me that. Give me Sirach 43, and you give me let's start at give me Ezekiel 46. Go ahead.
Sirach 43:6. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. From the moon is a sign of feast.
The moon's a sign of feast. So if we have a feast day, it can't be based on some type of Gregorian calendar, right? It doesn't say anything about Friday, Saturday here. Give me Leviticus 23. Go ahead.
A light that decreaseth in her perfection.
A light that decreases in her perfection. How does the moon work? It waxes and it wanes. What does it mean to wax? It goes from dark to light, yeah. And then waning from the full moon light to the darkness. That's what it's talking about. The decrease in its perfection. A perfect moon is a dark moon. The new moon. Go ahead.
The month is called after her name.
The what?
The month is called after her name.
The month is called after the moon's name. If you look up the Hebrew for moon, it's going to say month. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven.
That's how you tell the days. Now give me, Leviticus 23. Give me Exodus 16, and then give me Psalms, what was it, 81 and 3? Is that what I want? Give me this. Go ahead.
Leviticus 23. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feasts of the Lord.
Concerning the feast of the Lord, we just read in Sirach, the moon is a sign of feast, right? Read.
Which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest, and holy convocation.
It's classifying the Sabbath as a feast day. So if it's a feast day, that means it goes by the moon, right? That's just basic understanding. But another aspect, and then people just skip over this. Read it again.
6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest.
Now, 6 days shall work be done. The 7th day should be the Sabbath of rest. Does it say every 6 days? That's a good catch. Why does it say every 6 days?
And maybe it doesn't have a dark moon 7 days, or maybe it has a full moon every other day.
Well, no. It's referencing how the moon works. How many days are in a moon cycle? No. For the month. The moon represents a month. How many days are in a full month, according to the moon cycle? So, Friday, Saturday keepers, how many Sabbaths do they keep? How many days is that?
30.
No, of course it's not. It's 28 days. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 4 is 28. But if you look up, if you can Google it right now, how many days are in the moon cycle? It's going to say 29.5. But it can differ. We say 30 because it rounds up to 30. So we do say 30 days. But a regular Friday, Saturday keeper is only 28 days. So that's not according to the moon cycle. But we just read in Sirach 43, the moon is a sign of feast, and the Sabbath is a feast day. So we have to go by the moon in some aspect to get our feast, which is what we do. Like I said, people that don't keep the lunar Sabbath, like I said, that's their understanding. We can't, that's fine. If you want to debate, it's different. If we're not going to bow to you just out the blue, like, okay, if you want to challenge us on it, cool, we can debate. But other than that, as long as you're keeping it, like he said, you can do it. As long as you're keeping the Sabbath, great. You're keeping the law according to your understanding. What am I going to do? Do I believe it's wrong? Yes. You know?
That's why I want to learn.
Yeah.
I can't just go on. What I did learn this one out was when it's a dark moon, there's no moon in the sky.
Exactly. That's the new moon.
When the moon does, I guess, come out, count 7 days after that, that's the Sabbath.
Exactly.
That's all I knew, but I need to learn it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to learn it in an hour, 3 hours.
Exactly.
Diligently, he said, seek me at his word. So I got to learn, and I got to be able to sit down and be taught again. Because you guys are right. And the Bible is correct. When women, we bump our gums. So as getting older and starting to learn, I learn to shut my mouth. So I can get a better understanding. Already I'm old enough. My memory ain't as good as a sharp young crowd of young people. You know what
Hey,
I'm
you in
saying?
the truth. You better than half these older women out here. You know what I mean?
I want to learn.
I believe it. So, is that it? Yeah, get Ezekiel 46. What was your own? You know what I want? Exodus 16, like,
Yeah.
look at the Sabbath. Give me this. Yeah, go ahead.
Ezekiel 46 says, "Thus said the Lord God."
So, you understand that the dark moon is the new moon, right? And what does it represent? The beginning of the month. But, so, yes. So, in reference to the Friday, Saturday, Sabbath, what does the new moon represent to them? They don't think it's a Sabbath. Give me Amos 85 first. So, here's the thing. If the new moon is just a regular day, like, then why would the Bible say this? Give me this first. And then we're going to read future prophecy. Go ahead.
Amos 8 and 5, saying, when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn, and the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances by deceit.
So it says, when will the new moon be gone, that we may be able to sell corn? So why is it saying you can't sell on the new moon? And where is the law on that? Where does it say we can't sell on the new moon? In the Torah. It doesn't say anything about the new moon in Genesis. Exactly, but what about the new moon though? It doesn't say that, right? But this is the understanding in the history. Because, you know why? Because the new moon is a Sabbath. If you ask somebody that keeps Friday, Saturday, Sabbath, why can't we say on the new moon? They're like, I don't know. It's not in the Torah, but guess what? We kept the new moon as a Sabbath. And we're going to prove it. Give me 1 Samuel. What that, Joel? You can drop Exodus first and then give me 1 Samuel.
Thus said the Lord God, the gate of the inner court that looketh toward the east shall be shut the 6 working days. But on the Sabbath it shall be opened.
On the Sabbath shall be open, and what else?
And in the day of the new moon it shall be opened.
So the Sabbath and the new moon, the gate has to be open. Why? Read it again.
Thus said the Lord God, the gate of the inner court that looketh toward the east shall be shut the 6 working days. But on the Sabbath it shall be opened, and in the day of the new moon it shall be opened.
The Sabbath and the new moon, the gate has to be open. What's the difference between the Sabbath and the new moon here, and why they, on both those days, they have to be open? If they're different days, or if you have to treat like different days. If the new moon isn't a Sabbath, why does it both have to be open on the same day? It's not talking about feast, it's talking about the protocol. It's just protocol, how we keep, as far as the temple. Because it is the new moon is a Sabbath. But the new moon is a high Sabbath. There's regular Sabbath and there's a higher Sabbath, which is the new moon. And we're going to prove it. Where you at? 1 Samuel 20? Yeah, give me Psalms 81. Give me, drop Exodus first and then we'll go back to that. Give me 1 Samuel 20, 18. Go ahead.
1 Samuel 20, 18. And Jonathan said to David, tomorrow is the new moon.
Tomorrow is the new moon. Read.
And thou shalt be missed, because thy seat will be empty.
Read.
And when thou hast stayed 3 days, then thou shalt go down quickly, and come to the place where thou didst hide thyself, and the business was in hand, and shall remain by the stone Ezel.
Jump down to 24.
Verse 24. So David hid himself in the field, and when the new moon was come, the king sat him down to eat meat.
To what?
To eat meat.
So they were keeping a feast day on the new moon, as is written. Read.
And the king sat upon his seat, as at other times, even upon a seat by the wall.
Read.
And Jonathan arose, and Abner sat by Saul's side, and David's place was empty.
David wasn't there. He was hiding because Saul was trying to kill him at the time. Read.
Nevertheless, Saul spake not anything that day.
Yeah, he was like, man, David's not here. All right, whatever. I'm going to let it slide. Read.
For he thought, something hath befallen him. He is not clean. Surely he is not clean. And it came to pass on the morrow.
Read it slow.
And it came to pass on the morrow.
Came to pass on the morrow, tomorrow, for the new moon, then tomorrow. Read.
Which was the 2nd day of the month.
Which was what?
The 2nd day of the month.
The new moon is the 1st day of the month, right here. The next day is the 2nd day of the month. That's what the new moon represents. It's a higher Sabbath, but it represents the 1st day of the month. So if we go back to Ezekiel 46, and it says the gate has to be open on the new moon and the Sabbath, the new moon is the Sabbath. Period. It's the 1st day of the month. What you at? That's a different translation? What translation is that? Go ahead.
This is 1 Samuel 20 and 27 in the GNT. On the following day, the day after the new moon festival.
The day after the new moon festival. The 2nd day of the month. You know what I mean? Read.
The 2nd day of the month, that David's place was empty. And Saul said unto Jonathan his son, wherefore cometh not the son of Jesse to me? Neither yesterday nor today.
The new moon or the next day, the 2nd day of the month. Now, if it's the 2nd day of the month, that means what? The Sabbath should be what? About 5 days after that. Give me the next chapter, 21 and 5. Go ahead.
1 Samuel 21:5. And David answered the priest and said unto him, Of a truth, women have been kept from us about these 3 days since I came out.
Yeah, so the beginning of the dialogue of the previous chapter, Jonathan said, hey, go hide 3 days. Because I don't want you to, my dad's going to kill you if you show up. Go hide somewhere for 3 days. And then David, the next chapter, he goes to the temple because he's hungry. This is what they try to use to say, oh, basically it was a Sabbath, or excuse me, not the Sabbath, but they use that the 3-day method to show that the new moon doesn't represent the Sabbath. But in actuality, David tells the priest, I was kept 3 days since I came out. So there's 3 days ahead, 3 days since he came out of hiding. So it's a total of 6 days. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
And of the vessels of the young women, young men are holy, and the bread is in a manner confined this day in the vessel. So the priest gave him the hallowed bread.
Gave him sanctified showbread. Read.
For there was no bread there but the showbread that was taken from before the Lord to put hot bread in the day when it was taken away.
Give me Exodus 25 and 30. Where you at? And give me Numbers 4 and 7. Read.
Exodus 25 and 30. And thou shalt set upon the table showbread before me always.
So showbread was always in the priest's temple every day. Now there's a special day on the Sabbath. They set it up a certain way. That's the only difference. Because the Sabbath is a holy day technically. You go on with the new moon. So Numbers 4 and 7. So the argument against Sabbath would be, oh well, David was only in the field for 3 days, and he went to the temple and got showbread. Well, wait a minute. The showbread is always going to be in the temple. They trying to make it seem like, oh, the showbread was only in the temple on the Sabbath day. No, the showbread's there every day. Period. Give me this.
Numbers 4 and 7. And upon the table of the showbread,
on the what?
Table of the showbread,
Read.
They shall spread a cloth of blue, and put thereon the dishes, and the spoons, and the bowls, and covers to cover the withal. And the continual bread shall be thereon.
The continual bread shall be thereon. Go ahead.
And they shall spread upon them a cloth of scarlet, and cover the same with the covering of badger skin, and shall put in the staves thereof. And they shall take a cloth of blue, and cover the candlestick of the light, and his lamps, and his tongs, and his snuff dishes, and all the oil vessels thereof, wherewith thy minister unto it. And they shall put it and all the vessels thereof within a covering of badger skins, and shall put it upon a bar.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Because this is like a special way to set up showbread. So, like I said, there's regular showbread days and there's Sabbath showbread days. But the main point is, David went to the temple on the Sabbath day and ate showbread. You know what I mean? Because it was 6 days later, after the new moon. So that's just basic information. I don't say basic information, but the new moon is the first day of the month, and that's how you know. That's how we follow the new moon. Like, that's one verse. Like, we don't go by a Gregorian calendar. That's ridiculous. And you know what the crazy part is? Give me Daniel. Was it Daniel 4 and 25? A lot of our brothers that keep the Friday, Saturday, Sabbath. You know who else keeps that Sabbath? The Jewish man.
Yeah, they do.
You know who keeps the same Passover as a Jewish man? The people that keep Friday, Saturday, Sabbath. Isn't that kind of crazy? Why would they do that? Why would they do that? We're supposed to be the people of the book and following their particular feast days. Madness. Like, I'm not saying it can't happen on a random year, but every year? That's crazy. And here's another thing. What does Saturday go back to? Like the literal name Saturday. Saturn. Saturn.
That's what they said.
Of course, it's Saturn worship. That's what it is. Saturn worship. All black. That's why they wear all black all the time. The Jewish people, they wear all black. Wear the little black box and phylactery or whatever it was. That's what they do. That's listen. Of course, they're filthy. We talking about a babe back in what 700 AD. They still didn't get it right. There's people on TikTok right now bragging about how they don't wash. But anyways, this is what happened because back in the ancient world, all of our historians never said that we kept any type of calendar. That was introduced by the white man. You know what I mean? The Gregorian calendar. They added days, because even back then, they had 8-day weeks. 9-day weeks sometimes. They had 8 and 9-day weeks before King Gregory, a white man, changed it to 7 days. So wait a minute. We were in captivity, or we were living in Greece as Israelites, as Jews, and then obviously we were scattered over the world, but we were still in Greece. That's where it became popular. And then the Romans took over, and they adopted the same type of theology. So just imagine a 7-day week, a fixed cycle going off of their calendar. And if you study the history, there's a video on it where the first ever recorded quote-unquote day was on a Wednesday. You know what I mean? They try to say it was a Saturday or a Sunday, but it really was a Wednesday. Because obviously Sunday was considered the Sabbath at one point. And that's what church people go to in reference to that. Sunday's supposed to be the rest day, and Monday's the first of the week, but in the calendar, Sunday's the first day of the week technically. Even though we don't keep none of that garbage, we can reference it to point out the days we're supposed to keep things, but to just go off Friday, Saturday, like that's just ridiculous. Some people, like I said, we've talked to people that say, I know the Lunar Sabbath is right, but it's just easier to keep Friday, Saturday. Of course.
So if we're supposed to remember the days of old, that includes the lunar Sabbath, the lunar calendar period.
Of course. Like I said, people have a different understanding. We've debated a couple different people. I'm not gonna say no camp names, but we debated them back in the day, and it got bad. Are they gonna admit that? No, not our problem. We see them brothers. Hey, y'all, man, you keep that, we keep this, whatever. You can dispute what you want, fine. But guess what? There's no calendars in our history.
So I know I'm not going to learn everything tonight, but is there a class?
Plenty of videos. Plenty of videos.
Okay,
I was just watching one earlier.
okay.
I can send it to Teresa. There's so many videos on it. A lot of debates, like we debate people, like that's the main thing. Like if you see it getting challenged, like we have the answers for it. You know what I mean? That's what gets you like, okay, now I know this is what's going on. Because some people have, like I said, good questions. We have to answer those questions. Like I said, talking to you, like, okay, you're not going to challenge me because you don't necessarily know everything about the opposite side of the information. But if you see it just as a presentation and then go to a debate style, okay, this is a question that might, stump, not necessarily stump you, but give you a challenge per se, you know what I mean? And like I said, some people have a problem with Lunar Sabbath because, like I said, just based off of a Friday, Saturday thought process, they're going to say, oh, you're skipping days. Wait a minute. If you ask somebody, okay, well, how many days are in the Hebrew year? Well, I think I'm going to tell you, 360 days, right? 30 days for 12 months. But guess what? If you're keeping a Friday, Saturday, Sabbath, and there's only 7 days for 4 weeks, and there's 12 months based off of that, how many days is that? That's 336 days. I've done the math. So the math ain't nothing. You're missing 24 days. Guess where his 24 days come from? Those are traditional days. Because like I said, if we were saying the new moon or the moon cycle is 29.5 days, and they're missing a whole 2 days, that's where the traditional days come in. Like I said, we don't have to, like I said, when we read the first verse, or not the first verse, but where it says 6 days you shall work, 7th day you shall rest, it doesn't say every 6 days for a purpose. It says it on purpose because the Most High already knows it's not fixed. There's no way it can be fixed if it's based on the moon. You know what I mean? That's why it changes every month. Like last month it was Tuesday to Wednesday. This month the new moon was literally just last Wednesday. So guess what? Wednesday to Thursday is going to be the Sabbath for the next 30 days or so until the next new moon. You know what I mean? What you got? Yeah, give me that.
Daniel 7:25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws.
That's what happened when the white man came to power. They changed times and laws. They added days to the calendar. The same Gregorian calendar that people want to follow, they added days to it. You know what I mean? So, what's that? Not necessarily oppressed, but like I said, that goes into more of like, I don't even want to mention it, but basically like some Kabbalah and gematria type madness. That's what it's into, honestly. Because the Jewish man has their secret societies and they go by dates and numbers and words and all that other garbage, but we don't use that per se. But is that it? Go ahead.
And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time.
Time and times and dividing time. So that's basically talking about a number of days as well. Read.
Psalms 81:3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon.
Blow up the trumpet in the new moon. Read.
In the appointed time on our solemn feast day.
And the time appointed on our solemn feast day. So it's two separate times to blow the trumpet. You blow it in a new moon, and you blow it in a solemn feast day. Go ahead.
And you also do it on the 7th month too, at the beginning. So, what do you want? The moon?
Yeah. No, appointed time.
So this is the Hebrew word H3677. I said full moon.
Wait a minute, what?
Full moon.
When is the full moon? At the halfway point, right? The new moon's the dark moon. The full moon is the middle of the month. So that's where it says you blow the trumpet in that time too, in a solemn feast day. Now, what feast day is in the middle of the month? What feast day is in the middle of the month? Teresa? Huh? It's Passover. So when's the first time we got the unction to keep Passover? Or keep the Sabbath? That's on the Sabbath, actually. Give me that in Leviticus 23. And then me Exodus 16. Go ahead. 23, it's like that. Yeah, go ahead.
Exodus 16:23, and he said unto them, This is that which the Lord has said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. Bake that which ye will bake today, and see that ye will see, and that which remain over lay up for you to be kept until the morning. And they laid it up till the morning, as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein. And Moses said, Eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto the Lord. Today ye shall not find it in the field. 6 days ye shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be none.
Matter of fact, start at the top. That's what I want. Start at the top. So that's going to tell you what day we came out of Egypt. That's actually the part I missed. Go ahead. Oh, yep.
Exodus 16. And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came unto the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the 2nd month after their departing out of the land of Egypt.
On the 15th day of the 2nd month. So it said, go back down again. So go back down.
On Exodus 16:4, then said the Lord unto Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them, whether they will walk in my law or no. And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. And Moses and Aaron said unto all the children of Israel, At even, then ye shall know that the Lord hath brought you out from the land of Egypt.
Yeah, so the 15th day, 6 days after that, the 21st day, and when you read down, it said what? Tomorrow's the Sabbath day. So it's the 22nd day at that time. Actually, that's where I went. Well, basically, how the new moon works It's the first day. 7 days is what, the 8th day. First, 8th, 15th, and the 22nd. So that's how you know we went by the new moon in that context. Because like I said, we came on the 15th. 6 days we were supposed to not 6 days gathered, and the next day was the rest day, which is the 22nd. You know what I mean? So it's just common math. Where is you at? Yeah, give me Leviticus 23. Go down to 14. Where the Passover. Or, oh no, 5. That's the one. 5. Chill out. Yeah, go ahead.
Leviticus 23 and 5 or 4, right? 5.
Yeah, you can read sorry.
These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month.
14th day of the first month, read.
At even is the Passover, is the Lord's Passover.
The 14th day at even is the Lord's Passover, read.
And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread.
Because why? The moon's a sign of feast. We read in Psalms 81 and 3, the appointed time when the trumpet shall be blown is the full moon. The 15th day is the middle of the month. And guess what? The 14th day is the Passover. The 15th day is a feast of unleavened bread, which is what? An 8-day feast. Yeah. Go ahead.
7 days you must eat unleavened bread. Eat in the first day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work.
Wait a minute, what?
You shall do no servile work.
So the 15th day you can't do any servile work. Meaning what? It's a Sabbath. Read.
But ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days. And the 7th day is a holy convocation.
7 days after the 15th. 7 plus 15 is 22. It's the Sabbath again. Read.
You shall do no servile work therein. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye be come into the land which I give you, and shall reap the harvest thereof.
That's all I want. That's all I want. That just proves how we go by the new moon. You know what I mean? There's no Friday, Saturday involved. Because if we're let's just use common sense here. If we're starting our day, or the 7-day calendar or whatever, or the Saturday calendar, or a week. Monday's the first day of the week, right? Or Sunday, excuse me. And 6 days after that is what? The 7th day, correct? And then the next day is technically the 14th day, right? But we just read that the 15th is the Sabbath. Right? So how does that work? So why do people keep the Friday, Saturday, Sabbath if that's the math? I mean, I'm just asking questions. You know what I mean? Well, I'm just based on the understanding of the Bible. Some people have a different understanding than what we have, but people still keep that tradition or that theology standpoint. You know what I mean? But I'm reading the Bible, asking questions. And these are questions we have to answer them ourselves. How you gonna teach me? What you gonna teach me? Okay, I can teach you anything. I'm just making sure the sister's well equipped. You know what I mean? So does that make sense though? I believe it. We've seen you before. We've talked to you before. Is that it? What else is there? Like I said, there's a whole bunch of history that Chief and Deacon went into. I don't have it in my notes, but it's just cut and dry. You know what I mean? If we're gonna keep our culture to the full extent, we can't be looking at a calendar. Oh, it's Friday. Like what? Like it's ridiculous.
That's how the ancients did it. You know what I mean? That's how the ancients did it, right? And usually, like people don't really understand that. But there was this guy named Halil II, right? Jewish guy. He's the one that composed the Jewish calendar as we know it today. You know what I'm saying? And pretty much they pretty much got it like an established calendar, right? And to them, I think it's like year 3,007, so on, whatever.
What?
Whatever it may be. Oh, 5,000, some shit, something like that. But my thing is that they got Passovers already lined
Marked
up.
out, yeah. It doesn't make sense. But read this real quick. Yeah.
Ezekiel 46 from the top. Thus said the Lord God, the gate of the inner court that looketh toward the east shall be shut the 6 working days. But on the Sabbath it shall be open, and in the day of the new moon it shall be open.
So again, I didn't ask this earlier, but if they 1 second, if they aren't recognizing the new moon as a Sabbath day, and the new moon pops up, like I said, on a Wednesday, and they keep a Friday Sabbath, they're not keeping this law. They're not keeping this prophecy. So, I mean, what would they say? What would they have to say to this? Like, there's a debate out where they ask this question all the time, and it just trips them up because they can't get it. They'll never, like, they would not be keeping this law or this custom in the land if they were keeping a Friday, Saturday, Sabbath. It just doesn't make sense. There's no 6 days in between those 2 days. You're having a 1 day, or let's just say the new moon was on a Monday. It still wouldn't be 6 days. It would be 5 days. So that's how we know the new moon is the Sabbath. It just adds up to us. Like, even without going into the history, the Bible just speaks for itself. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't even, like, if you read other translations, like, I think it's in the New Testament. I think if you go to some Greek translations where it talks about the Sabbath, it'll say Friday in there. Like, what? Like, why would they do that? Like, we know for a fact, none of the disciples.
My nigga Delta in a fight.